I thought Ethan was just stupid, but when I saw the word SULT painted in blood red across my car and garage, I realized stupidity wasn't the problem anymore. Obsession was. My ex-boyfriend Ethan was a total idiot. We met at a yoga class in Seattle, where he laughed when our teacher mentioned downward dog and refused to say namaste because he didn't know Spanish. I'm not joking. Now, of course, I looked past that because he was so damn hot. I mean, just watching his muscular body twist into all those yoga positions literally left me drooling. "Hey, I'm Ethan," he said, asking me out for coffee afterward. One thing led to another, and pretty soon we were dating. Things were great at first, and I found his idiocy kind of charming. He was my big dumb eye candy, and all my friends were jealous. Unfortunately, our honeymoon phase only lasted a month. That's when he started acting jealous. I work at a tech company downtown, so I have a lot of male friends. Ethan hated that I hung out with other guys after work. He insisted on tagging along, even though he had no interest in the stuff we did. He sucked at bar trivia, hated foreign films, and even when we did the activities he liked, like hiking or going to the gym, he acted possessive. He didn't understand most of my conversations with my friends, so he always assumed we were either flirting or making fun of him. He got especially suspicious of my coworker, Daniel. Daniel's a great guy, though nowhere near as attractive as Ethan. He's also happily married, but Ethan convinced himself that Daniel and I were secretly hooking up behind his back. One night, my coworkers invited me to the bowling alley. Naturally, Ethan insisted on coming even though he wasn't invited. He acted like a jerk the whole time, especially to Daniel. Then, after everyone else left, I found a piece of paper in my purse. It read, "Dear Sophie, you're really annoying. I don't think we should be friends. Daniel." Ethan saw me reading the note and acted furious, pretending to be angry at Daniel. But I knew the truth. Daniel had a PhD, he knew how to spell. My boyfriend was trying to frame him. That was the moment I realized just how stupid Ethan truly was. Not because he thought I would believe the note, but because he was almost illiterate. What grown man doesn't know how to spell friends? I didn't say anything at the time because it was too awkward. We went back home as if nothing had happened. By the time we went to bed, I could tell he knew I wasn't convinced. He didn't bring up the note again, and neither did I. I broke up with him 2 weeks later. I really tried to make it work just because he was so damn hot, but when he embarrassed me at my office Christmas party, I had to end things. "That's it, Ethan. We're done." Ethan looked at me with more anger than I'd ever seen on his face. I probably should have dumped him in private. He was thin-skinned, as you can tell. For a second, I thought he was going to scream at me. Instead, he just glared, then stormed off without saying a word. I tried to enjoy the rest of the party, but it was awkward. I ended up going home early. Thankfully, Ethan didn't live with me, so I went to bed alone. The next morning, I drove to the supermarket, trying not to think about him. When I got out of my car, I noticed people were staring at me. It was weird, but I ignored it. I did my shopping and came back out, and then I realized why people had been staring. Someone had spray painted the word SULT in big red letters on the side of my car. SULT. I burst out laughing. Yes, it was embarrassing and horrible, but in that moment I just thought it was funny. My mood changed when I got home and saw that the same thing had been painted on my garage door. My mailbox was also broken. Ethan wasn't just stupid, he was dangerous. I took photos of the damage and drove straight to the Seattle Police Department to report it. The officer who took my statement seemed nice, but I could tell he wasn't taking me seriously. He barely hid his smirk when I showed him the photos. I told him I was 100% sure my ex was responsible, so he called Ethan in for questioning. The officer made me wait outside while he interrogated him. It only took 2 minutes before the officer came back out. "I'm sorry, miss, but he says he didn't do it. And he has an alibi." "An alibi? What a joke." I was furious, but I stayed calm and asked if I could ask Ethan 2 questions. I already knew exactly what I was going to say. The officer reluctantly agreed and took me back into the interrogation room. Ethan sat across the table, acting all cocky and confident. For my first question, I showed him the photo of my vandalized car. "What does this say?" He stared at it for a while, pretending like he'd never seen it before. "Oh, I can't say that word in mixed company." "I give you permission," I said. "It says slut. That means a woman who sleeps around and cheats on her boyfriend." I looked at the officer. Clearly Ethan was the vandal. What more proof did he need? But the officer still looked uncertain, so I asked my second question. "Can you spell the word?" "You're serious? What is this, 3rd grade?" Ethan scoffed. "SULT. And that was when the officer finally arrested him. I have a restraining order against him now, and the graffiti has been painted over. I haven't seen him since his court appearance, and honestly, I have no idea what he's up to. Probably still as dumb as ever.